What if I told you the secret to sounding fluent in English wasn't about cramming thousands of new words, but about mastering one of the shortest, most common words you already know? It's a word you see and hear all the time, but its real power is often hiding in plain sight. So many English learners study for years. You know the grammar, you've got a decent vocabulary, but when you speak, something just feels off. You don't sound natural. You don't sound fluent. It's a frustrating feeling, right? And it's like there's an invisible wall between you and the confident English speaker you want to be. You know exactly what you want to say, but it comes out sounding like a textbook instead of a real conversation. In this video, I'm going to show you how mastering one simple two-letter word can instantly make your English sound more natural, sophisticated, and fluent. That word is as. And by the end of this video, you'll understand the 5 key ways native speakers use this word automatically, and you'll be able to use them too. First up, the most common use of as is making comparisons. You might already know this one, but truly mastering its rhythm is the key to sounding natural. The structure is simple. As plus an adjective or adverb plus as. We use this when we're comparing two things that are equal. Think about these sentences. This house is big. That house is also big. It's correct grammar, but it's a bit clunky. A native speaker would naturally fuse those ideas together using as. They'd say, this house is as big as that one. It's just smoother, more efficient, and sounds instantly more fluent. This works perfectly for adjectives like he is as tall as his brother, or the film was as good as the book. But the real magic for fluency happens when you use it with adverbs to describe actions. Instead of saying you need to finish your work quickly, it's possible to do it very quickly. You can say you need to finish your work as quickly as possible. That little phrase, as soon as possible or as quickly as possible, is a cornerstone of natural everyday English. Let's try a quick upgrade. Instead of I'll call you when I arrive, try I'll call you as soon as I arrive. Can you feel how it adds a sense of immediacy that when doesn't quite have? Or instead of I can help you, but you have to buy me lunch, try I'll help you as long as you buy me lunch. See how the small switch makes the condition sound more conversational? Mastering the as comparison is your first step. It's about more than just grammar. It's about connecting ideas in a way that flows just like a native speaker. Alright, let's level up to a use of as that will immediately make you sound more professional and articulate. This is when we use as like a preposition to describe a role, purpose, or function. Many learners might say something like, I have a job, that is being a teacher. A native speaker would just say, I work as a teacher. That tiny word, as, defines the entire role. It's clean, precise, and professional. Think about how you can use this in different situations. For example, she used her scarf as a blanket on the cold train. Here, as tells us the scarf's function in that moment, or this film is known as a classic of cinema. In this case, as is used to define its quality. You can also use it to describe how something is viewed or considered. For instance, internet shopping is seen as a cheaper alternative, or in a formal setting, the committee appointed him as the new chairman. This is the kind of language you'll hear constantly in business meetings, academic discussions, and professional environments. Now, let's talk about a common mix-up, as versus like. He works as a doctor, and he acts like a doctor. They mean very different things. He works as a doctor is his profession. He acts like a doctor means he's just behaving like one. Maybe he's bossy or giving out unsolicited advice. But he isn't actually a doctor. We use like plus noun to mean similar to, but as plus noun to define a specific role or purpose. Remembering this distinction is a game changer. Start listening for this in shows and films. You'll notice it everywhere. Someone is described as a leader. An object is used as a tool. A place is seen as a sanctuary. When you start using this in your own speech, you're no longer just describing things, you're defining them. And that's a huge step toward fluency. This is where your conversation skills will really start to show. Using as a conjunction helps you connect ideas in a much more fluid narrative way, especially when you're giving reasons or talking about two things happening at once. A lot of learners lean heavily on the word because. For example, I couldn't go to the party because I was sick. That's 100% correct. But native speakers love variety, and as is a common alternative. As I was sick, I couldn't go to the party. It sounds a little softer, a little more integrated into the flow of the story. You can also use as to mean in the way that. For example, she arranged the flowers as her mother had taught her. This creates a beautiful flowing sentence that tells a tiny story. Or how about, as the forecast predicted, it rained all day. This shows a clear connection between a prediction and a result. And another powerful use is to show two actions happen at the exact same time. Instead of saying, I was walking out the door and then the phone rang, you can weave them together seamlessly. As I was walking out the door, the phone rang. It paints a much clearer picture. He waved as he pulled away. You can see both actions happening together perfectly. This use of as is what makes storytelling in English so rich. It lets you layer actions and reasons, creating sentences that are more complex and interesting. It's how you move from short, choppy sentences to a more sophisticated narrative style of speaking. If you find these tips helpful, then remember to like and subscribe. And if you would like a private English lesson, then click the link in the description. Once you've got the fundamentals down, you're ready to start using some more advanced, nuanced phrases that use as. These are expressions that native speakers use all the time, often without thinking. Let's start with as if and as though. We use these to talk about something that appears to be true, but probably isn't. For example, he talks about the subject as if he were an expert. This implies he's not an expert, but he really sounds like one. Or, she looked at me as though she had never seen me before. It creates a sense of drama or surprise. You can also use as if to show you strongly doubt something. If your friend says, I can run a marathon with no training, you might just say, as if, to show your disbelief. Next up, the formal expressions as to and as for. As to is a more formal way of saying regarding or about. You might hear it in a news report. No information has been released as to the cause of the fire. As for is great for changing the subject. For example, the hotel room was wonderful. As for the food, it was a disappointment. This lets you transition smoothly between different parts of your story. Then we have conditional phrases like as long as. This is different from as soon as. As long as sets a condition. For example, you can borrow my car as long as you drive carefully. The condition for borrowing the car is to drive carefully. And let's not forget as well as. This is a more sophisticated way to say and or also when adding information. For instance, the coach as well as the team is ready for the game. These phrases as if, as though, as to, as for, as long as, and as well as add a layer of precision to your English. They show you can handle complex ideas, conditions and transitions, which is a true sign of an advanced speaker. Finally, if you really want to sound natural and connect with native speakers on a more informal level, you've got to play with idioms. English is packed with colourful idiomatic expressions that use that as structure, and they add so much personality and humour to your speech. You've probably heard some of these. If someone is super busy, they're as busy as a bee. If a task is super easy, it's as easy as pie. These phrases create a strong mental picture and are way more descriptive than just saying very busy or very easy. Let's run through a few more. If you're calm and relaxed in a stressful situation, you're as cool as a cucumber. If you're feeling really unwell, you might say as sick as a dog. And two friends who are super close and share secrets are as thick as thieves. When you feel healthy and you're full of energy, you're as fit as a fiddle. When everything's perfect, it's as right as rain. And someone who is very well behaved is as good as gold. Now, a quick word of caution. Idioms are very cultural and are best used in informal chats. You probably wouldn't email your boss that you were as sick as a dog, but using them with friends or in casual conversation shows that you have a deep, comfortable relationship with the English language. It shows you don't just know the words, you get the culture behind them. Sprinkling a few of these into your chats is a fantastic way to sound truly at ease in English. So there you have it. One single two-letter word, as, with the power to completely transform how you speak English. We've covered the 5 key areas using as for smooth comparisons, defining roles and functions, telling stories with reasons and timing, expressing advanced ideas with phrases like as if and as long as, and finally, sounding totally natural with colourful idioms. The real secret to fluency isn't memorising thousands of words you'll never use, it's about deeply understanding the powerful, versatile words you already know. It's about seeing how one word can be a tool for comparison, a connector for ideas, and a way to paint a picture. Your challenge, should you choose to accept it, is to start listening for as everywhere, in songs, in films, in your own conversations. Notice how it's used, then start trying it out yourself. Start simple with some comparisons. Try using it instead of because. Maybe even drop an idiom with a friend. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. Every single mistake is a step toward fluency. You absolutely have the ability to sound more fluent, natural, and confident. The key might just be as simple as you thought. What's your favourite way to use the word as? Let me know in the comments below and get some practice by writing a sentence using one of the forms we talked about today. What's your favourite way to use the word as? Let me know in the comments below. And get some practice by writing a sentence using one of the forms we talked about today. And I will see you in the next one. Bye for now.